Good afternoon. I am Valerie R. Austin, the author of the Student's Comprehensive Guide for College and Other Life Lessons. I wrote the book to assist high school students and their parents to navigate the journey of careers in college. I am also the host of the Employer Speaks series, which is designed to highlight different careers and the path to achieving those careers. Today, I have two very special guests. Notory Beckford and Sean Atkinson are small business owners and entrepreneurs. Since their incarceration and release from prison many years ago, they have become the ideal role models for second chances. After release from prison, Notory started his first company named Beckford Trucking LLC. Since 2021, however, Notory is the owner and founder of the record label Paper Bag Cartel, also known as PBC and LLC. Notory is a rapper whose stage name is Bags, aka Big Hefe, who has produced the single Chain Gang. He also speaks to groups about his experiences and successes to inspire, lead, and ignite positive change. Sean Atkinson is the Chief Operating Officer for PBC. He is also a cosmetologist, landscaper, electrician, and plumber. Sean learned many of these career skills while in prison. He has translated his skills and talents to successfully operate in the business world. Both professionals are business builders and leaders. Through hard work and dedication, Notory and Sean have overcome obstacles to repeatedly turn creative ideas into successful business strategies. I look forward to this discussion with Notory and Sean to explore their path to success while thriving in the exciting career of entrepreneurship. Thank you for watching. Good afternoon. I am Valerie R. Austin, the host of the Employer Speaks series. Today, I have two very special guests. I have Sean Atkinson and Notory Beckford. They are small business owners and entrepreneurs. Today, we're going to have a fascinating discussion about the career of entrepreneurship. Thank you both for being on Employer Speaks.
Thank you, Valerie, for having me, man. Very much appreciate it.
Yes, Ms. Valerie, thank you so much.
Well, again, thank you guys for being here. So let's get started. What are your current job titles and day-to-day responsibilities as entrepreneurs and founders of the record label Paper Bag Cartel, also known as PBC and LLC, which you started in 2021?
Bags, Notory. I'm the owner. I'm the founder, the owner, the CEO of the label, Paper Bag Cartel. And my duties is basically oversee the artists, make sure that my head videographer, my head photographer, all of my heads, I make sure that the people that they got the people up under them in control.
Okay, and what about you, Sean?
I'm just an all-around guy. But as in for the label, CEO, COO, Chief Operating Officer. So whatever Mr. Notory Beckford says, I'm like the person that's like Notory Beckford, but my name is Sean Atkinson. But like you said, we put it together and we both pretty much, it's like, we just run it together. Okay. Teamwork made the dream work.
Okay. So Notory, you're the vision for the record label, and Sean, you're the person who's the right-hand person to make sure everything happens.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask you this, Notory. In your own words, what does entrepreneurship mean to you?
To me, entrepreneurship, by definition, it says that an entrepreneur is someone that takes on basically all of the risk, all of the responsibilities, all of these things that comes along with it, but you also reap most of the benefits. To me, I agree with that definition, but to me, an entrepreneur is someone who wants to take on these responsibilities, because anybody can go and start a business and say, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, but you got to have, it's a want, you know what I mean, to be, you know what I mean, to me, the definition of a true entrepreneur is someone that wants the responsibility of all the problems that come with it, that love the challenge. You know what I mean? That's to me.
Okay, so you like the heart and soul of the business to make sure that it does happen and you want to do it. It's not something that's
Exactly.
imposed on you.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. It's not something I have to do. It's something that I want to do.
All right. Well, that being the case, Sean, let me ask you this question. Your business is a limited liability company. What is a LLC? That's the other name for it, the abbreviation. What is a LLC?
That's a good question. An LLC is different from being incorporated. An LLC is you starting up. It's like a small business you starting up, but eventually it gets big, and it's just the legal terms to actually be in the paperwork, as in the courts and everything. Everything's documented. So if you can't go out and say, "Hey, I started this business," and you're not documented, you don't have a business unless you document it with whatever state you in. You could be the state of Florida, Georgia, it could be any state, but you have to be legal. And that's it. It's a start. That's why I look at it.
All right. And just in my mind, it just gives you your legitimacy. It makes sure that you're not out there running a business and nobody knows you're existing. You're taking money and nobody knows where that money's going. All right.
Exactly. May I add something to that to go along with that? It also, as it said, the LLC stands limited liability. So it also protects your person from anything. Say any employee, your employee, or somebody does anything and someone wants to sue you, they can't take anything from your personal. They can't touch any of your personal, but they can only touch your business thing. So that's basically why it's so good to have a LLC.
Okay, so that's protection too. All right, fantastic.
Yes.
Right. Now, since you've already given us that information, Notary, let me ask you this. What type of music does your record label produce, and who are some of your artists?
We have a vast genre of music. I have Latino artists. I have a female rap artist. Her name is China. Right now, her name is China, and when I tell you, she's from Baltimore, or Philly, one of them. I'm sorry, I got it wrong, but she's dope. She's here in Atlanta. I also have artist go by the name of Loverboy from Savannah, Georgia. He's so dope with it. He's a singing rapper. He does the harmonic, the rapping and stuff. He's dope. Like I said, I have a Latino artist in Florida, South Florida, Montego. And I have a couple artists that's on the roster, but they're in development. They haven't put anything out. They don't have a buzz or anything yet, but they're going through the artist development stage.
All right, so you're running like your own empire.
It's
like your own empire.
That's what the cartel. I call it the cartel. And it's run like that, but people hear that word and they'll automatically think something wrong, like a drug cartel or anything. But if you look up the definition of the word cartel, it's basically a bunch of businesses coming together to, like conglomerates to get together and help each other. There's nothing wrong, but that's how we run it, the cartel.
All right, fantastic. Well, let me ask you this, Notary. I'll stay on you for a moment. I viewed your video for your single Chain Gang. The theme appeared to be women, money, and cars. Now, that being said, I want to ask you, what was your inspiration for that song, and explain how the imagery and the name of the song relates to the women, cars, and money? I'm just curious.
Well, okay. It's real simple, right? I still have like friends of mine that I got a lot of love for that's still in prison. Like a lot of my friends, like I have friends that are in prison that are closer to me than blood relatives, and I still, send them money and stuff, here and there. And when you're in prison, ask a man in prison what he think about all the time. Like he thinks about money, girls, and so I did that song for them. That was a song to attribute that I call it Chain Gang. That's what everybody in the Chain Gang be thinking about. The guys in there, they want to get out, get them some money, they want to get out and be with them girl, and they want to live that lifestyle. So that's one song that I just took and it's a nice song. And I just dedicated that to all my guys, and I do that one for them.
Okay, well that makes sense now. So let me ask you this then. As the Chief Operating Officer, Sean, what is the demographic for your music audience then?
The demographic. I look at it, music is real influence. And you look at it as putting music out there. We just don't have just one type of music where it's somebody that's like, okay, you look Bags up and you be like, oh, he's only do rap. I don't want to listen to him. There's different levels of the music. We have pop music, we have rap music, we have slow music, we have all different type of music that we working on. And what I do as a chief operating officer is we come with ideas together. Me, Notory, we come in our bags, our thoughts together. We put together. Hey, how does this sound? And we got choruses, we got hooks, and he's like, okay, so we like communicate to make it to where like, okay, should we put this out here? Oh no, we shouldn't put this out here because like you said, music is influence. So we not want to mislead people out here in this world to like we're promoting violence because you say chain gang, baby. No, we're not no gang, and we're just two young brothers just out of prison, just want to be successful and take care of our family and just live and be happy. That's.
Well, let me ask you this, if I may interrupt you. So when you're coming up with a hook or the song or the lyrics, do you actually target a demographic or you just make it for everyone?
You make it for everyone because like you make it for everyone. Everybody goes through something. So you look at it, somebody play this music here, they're going through something. It's like a relief of music because so you could play a song and you be like, this song is joyful, and you can play it's all in your thoughts of what you were listening to.
So if I may add, we do certain, you know what I mean, for certain songs we do target certain demographic, different areas, for instance, I have a Caribbean a friend of mine. Her name is, shout out to Mina B. She's from Miami, Florida, Miami, and she got a lot of motion down there, and she's Haitian, you know what I mean, and we got a song that we're recording right now, and it's for the Caribbean audience, you know what I mean, it's for the islanders, so in that sense we do. But as far as what Sean is saying, even if you don't have a lick of island in your blood, I'm Jamaican. My people is from Jamaica, so even if you don't have any island in your blood, it's for everybody. Everybody will love it, just like Bob Marley. Everybody loves Bob Marley. They probably didn't even know what Bob Marley was saying, but they love some Bob Marley.
I can understand that. Well, if that is the case in terms of the demographics, depending on the music, depending on who the artist is, let me ask you this question, and I'll stay with Notory here. Before you started your business, did you write a business plan? And for those who don't know, a business plan outlines what your business's goals and objectives are. It also has what your market analysis is. What's the market that you're trying to target? It also has a competitive analysis, like what other companies or businesses can take away market share, and also budgeting to see if you can make a profit. So with that being said, before you started your business, did you write a business plan?
Yes, and it's crazy, I was in prison and I went to a school, Penn Foster. They used to have commercials. Penn Foster, they used to have on where you can go to school, you can take courses, and I actually did a course for business administration. And the course is basically walking you from beginning to end of writing a business plan. So I wrote my business plan while I was in prison, for my first, well, actually, and as a matter of fact, I'm known for my record label, but my first business was a trucking company. I also have a trucking company, 18-wheeler, a semi-truck. That was the first company that I started. That company started and funded the record label, So when I was in prison, I said, okay, when I get out, I know I want to get in trucks. I got some partners in here that's talking about how good trucks was. So I focused my business plan around trucking, the competitors who I was going to be up against, and what tough it would be to be a business owner, being that in the first couple of years, this projected as more business failed within the first 6 months or first year. And within the 5 years, like 80 or more % of it, most businesses fail within the 5 years, And I was doing all of this research and learning all of these things. And at times it was discouraging. It was like, oh man, it was scary because once again, I'm incarcerated at the time. I don't know what I'd have been in prison for 10 years. And at the time I'm trying to write a business plan for what I'm going to do when I get out. And, but yeah, I did. To answer your question, I did write a business plan.
And that's fantastic, because I believe with the business plan, because I own a business, it keeps you on track. It keeps you within the guidelines of why exactly did you start this business, as opposed to leeching off or going somewhere else. And as a matter of fact, if you're mentioning you being incarcerated, we'll get into that a little later in terms of your past and how both you and Sean have been able to overcome those challenges. Have you experienced, Sean, the problems that small business owners typically face, such as a lack of capital, building a brand, operating a business at a profit? And if you did experience those are some examples. What actions did you take to overcome those issues?
When you run across issues, you try not to dwell on it. You use that energy that's an issue to make the issue better. So with me, I look at it, I try not to focus on issues. I try to focus on how to make it better, so issues don't stay in my brain, if that makes sense. So just like how when you was like, okay, did you write a business plan? You asked Notory that. As for me, no, I did not write no business plan. All I knew is like, this is what I want to do. And I seen everybody that's successful around. So I ask questions. I ask them, hey, what steps do we need to do to do? And that's what makes me, because you look at it, being in prison, and just like, okay, everybody want to start a business, but then it's like, how? And you could go through a book and read a book how to start a business, but it's way different from being out in the field and actually starting a business. So to answer your question, as in issues, I try not to store issues in my head. I just try to keep going. Just keep going.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Let's say you're running a business and you lack capital, or you're trying to distinguish yourself in terms of branding. What way would you go about it? You said you talked to other people about it. What else would you do?
You have to keep pushing. you have to keep pushing. That's it. I don't know. You have to keep pushing. You just can't give up. You have to keep pushing. And like capital, as in, if you haven't made a quarter for this week, you have to just push 2-3 times harder and keep moving. So you just can't be like, oh, I didn't make this, or this capital did this, or my branding ain't doing right. You just have to try harder. Just keep going, because it ain't nothing easy in life. There's nothing out here a person gonna be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna just give you this, here, pay your rent, pay your bills. No, you have to go out there and work for everything that you want, and you just have to keep going.
All right. Well, I agree with you in terms of it does take a certain amount of grit to be a business owner, because I even had that experience myself when I first started my business, and I wasn't getting the speaking engagements and I wasn't getting the book sales. I actually had to double my effort. So what you're saying is completely right in terms of those obstacles. Don't let them keep you down. Well, that being said, let me turn to Notory. I heard Sean sought out mentors, but did you seek out mentors before you went into the music business, before you went into the trucking business? And if you did, succinctly, what did they say? What were some of their recommendations?
Don't do it. Don't do it. But yeah, I did. I had mentors. Like I said, I had some friends of mine that was when I was incarcerated, they owned trucks, before their incarceration, and I used to ask them all the time, hey, how do I, go about getting my own authority, so I don't have to go through broker, where I can deal directly with the brokers. How do I do this? So I did have mentors with the trucking, and as well with when I started the label, I had, talked to people, a couple of guys that I knew that was already in the industry, and, a couple of guys that from, local guys that I knew that they was in the industry while I was in prison, and they told me like, okay, watch out for this, watch out for that. They got some insight, so, and they just always told me, never, ever let no one else's, what no one else eat makes you defecate. You know what I mean? Like this, you know what I mean? Though your
Okay.
situation.
Explain that one, please.
The experience like dictate what you do, because a lot of people told me when I first bought my truck, oh, don't do it, it's bad, it's this. But your experience may not be my experience. You may have had a bad experience. I have to see it for myself type person. You know what I mean? If someone tell me, oh, I take what you say, and I think about it, and I take it to consideration, but I'm still going, I gotta see.
You got to see it for yourself. You got to experience for yourself.
Yes, yeah.
All right. Well, let me turn to Sean then. How many employees do you have with PBC? How many employees?
As of currently right now,
Mhm.
employees, you look at it as we're under 10 employees right now.
Mhm.
And because we just started, and like it's a building process. But that's
I'm sorry, if I may,
Go ahead.
yeah, as far as employees, we're not adding the artists. You know what I mean? Like the artists not count. Even though they're on the label, I don't consider my artists like employee. You know what I mean? But as far as employee, like the head, like for instance, Sean, he's the head of marketing, head of what I mean, all of the advertising marketing. He's the head of that. I have a friend that's head videography. He's in control of all the videos. He got a team up under him. I got head security. I got my accountant, my money man. I have those. So it's like 5 of us that are heads, and I consider those employees. You know what I mean? Oh my guys. But then like I said, I got the 4 artists, and the 4 artists that's signed, and then I got 2 or more artists that's in the development stage right now.
So if I can explain that again, you have people who are part of your organization that you actually pay, and then you have artists that you have a contract with that they produce based on working with you. All right.
Exactly.
Well, let me ask you this. What's the hardest part about hiring and managing employees? And who's the ideal employee? What skills are you guys looking for? Either one of you guys can answer that question. Who's the ideal employee, and what's the hardest part about hiring them?
Sean is the ideal. Sean is the ideal employee. And I hate that word employee, because I'm big on, you don't work for me, you work with me. Because even though it's my vision, I have the vision for it, but I can't do anything without the team. I can't go out and put out the posters. I can't go and do all the certain things without the team. Elon Musk know how to make solar panels, but he don't know how to put them together and go in the field. He need a team.
I don't think so. You're right.
So a person is the team. A person is nothing without a team. So, and Sean, when I tell you whatever hat he has to put on, he put it on. He be out there putting out flyers. He be the security. He be my backup singer, or whatever he got to be for the brand. He's gonna take on that responsibility. So he's the ideal person to have on your team. A person like that.
So the skills that, if you could boil it down into loyalty, problem solving, decision making,
yes,
types of skill, critical thinking.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Loyalty being number one.
I'm sorry.
Loyalty being number one. Loyalty, you have to be loyal.
True. And I completely understand that. Now, let me ask you both. You sound like you're very proud of what you have done in terms of your professional life. So I'm going to ask you, what are you most proud of? If you could articulate that, what are you most proud of? And I'll start off with Sean.
I'm proud of life, just in general. And just look at it, that talents that I was blessed with, to where I just don't focus on one thing. Like, I do landscaping work, I do concrete work, I drive trucks, I'm like you said, I'm a critical thinker, I'm a handyman. And it's like, I'm just thankful to be able to do all of these things and be blessed with different talents to be able to do this. Because I could have one job today, and let's say if I don't like this job, or it's just, I just don't stop there. Anybody else could just stop there. They don't know what to do. I could just stop here and be like, okay, I know I don't like, I know how to do it, but then I know how to do this too. So it's just, it keeps going. So there's no sitting down for me. And I'm just glad that I'm blessed to have that talent to know to do different things and work on cars and everything. People come to me and be like, hey, can you do this? Can you? And then like with me, I'm reasonable because I don't look to hurt people out here in this world. I look to help people because I know how it is to where a person is like, okay, they could be broke down on the side of the road. They don't have no help. This and here I go. I'm this guy just stopped by. Oh, I know how to change your tire, and I change it real quick. And but hey, can I pay you? No, I just keep it moving. And that's like I'm just blessed to know how to do things like that to be able to help, and that's what I'm thankful for.
Okay, the nobility of that, being able to help people. All right, what
Yes,
about
ma'am.
you, Notary?
What am I most proud of? I'm most proud of everything. I'm most proud of my wife. I can't, and that's crazy. It's come from left field, but everything I've been through, she is the person that I'm the thing or whatever that I'm most proud of. Her determination, her grit, her everything that she's that she goes through, it motivates me. And I'm sorry if for a side note, me and my wife, we've been knowing each other since 2004, and I went to prison in 2006, got out of it for 10 years, so we've been there for a while.
All right.
So that's what I'm most proud of. I'm most proud of that. She's stuck in there, and we're together now.
All right. So that's important in terms of the loyalty that you spoke of before. But then I think for both of you, it's the family, it's the support, it's you giving support and back to your community.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we're going to turn to high schoolers because I want to see what you all think about running a business or starting a business. I'm going to start with Sean. What type of academic classes or business experience do you think high school students need to become successful business owners?
Financial, a financial course to where, and a banking course, because a lot of people could have money, but what do you do with it? And and then these kids nowadays, I feel like they don't have no financial like wisdom to where to invest your money and how do you spend your money, where do your money go? And I feel like financial, because in school, when I was in high school, we didn't have that. But what they did have, we had a baby course. They gave me a fake baby to take home. And I look at it, I'm like, why I'm going through it? And then it makes sense because then now it gives you that
experience,
because I just couldn't just leave the baby home and then go outside to go play basketball and everything. And then I'm just like, wow, it gave me that experience to be able to be a father when I wasn't a father in high school, to be like, okay, it's like prepping. It's like prepping. But I was real thankful for that course there. But like I said, financial and just financial.
Okay. And that makes sense because young adults do not have that experience, that world view of what's going on around them, current affairs, financial literacy, important life skills, how to deal with a baby. And I think that makes them more tuned to what they could do with their future. Because I'm a big one of, if you're not to go into a career, that's fine. At least do the research. At least talk about it with somebody who's in that profession. And that being said, let me turn it over to Notary. And that, how important are writing and reading skills for entrepreneurs? Because I'm assuming you have to read contracts. What do you say to that?
That's the most important skill you got to have, especially being an American in general. You got to know how to read and write, because if you can't write and you can't read, you don't know what someone is doing to you. You don't know how someone is taking advantage of you. If you say, oh, I can got my friend, you know how to read. Okay, your friend, it might not be trustworthy. Your friend might only read half the statement and tell you something else, keep him 5% on the side. Something like, but you have to know how to read and you have to know how to write. Those are the most two they basic fundamental skills, but they're the most important skills you ever have and need in your life.
Okay. So those academics could be English, those math, being able to read and comprehend what's going on in your life. So those are important. Now,
Siri can't do everything for y'all guys out here. Technology, everything's not Siri, so
you gotta read it.
You gotta read.
Okay, makes sense. Now, Sean, let me turn it over to you then. What advice do you have for those high school students who want to start a business? And then I'll go to Notory.
What I have to say to start a business is don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Just believe and keep going. And because I don't have a lot of people always tell me, "Oh, you can't do this," or "You can't do this," and that fuels me, and that gives me like, okay, I know I could do this. And I'm not the type of person that want to prove this person wrong or nothing. It's just my work speaks for itself and the outcome. And then now, after I done it, this is what they looking. Hey, can you help me do this, or can you? And I'll be like, okay. And same people that said I couldn't do it, and it's just like, just keep going. Don't tell nobody. Can't be in your vocabulary. Take that out your mind. Whenever you say you can't, don't get me wrong. You can learn from anybody. Don't think because that you're this age or you can't learn from this person. You can learn from anyone. Don't and use your mind to the full capacity and just keep going. That's all I have to say. Just keep going.
Okay,
Don't give up.
Thank you very much. And what about you, Notory? What do you think about that? What advice would you give to high school students on how to start a business?
Oh, the advice that I would give to the high schoolers that want to start a business is research. Really, that's important. Like, you know what I mean? Anyone can start a business. You can start a business. If you're computer savvy, you can start a business like that and have a business. But the key is having a successful business. Like, just having a business is nothing. Everybody has a business, but in order to have a successful business, you really got to, and you have to have a passion for whatever it is that you can't just want to start a business because you think it's going to make a lot of money. Because if you don't like doing it, you don't have a true passion for it, it's doomed from the beginning.
This is true. This is very, very true. Because I believe you mentioned before that in terms of numbers, 18.4% of private sector U.S. businesses fail within the first year. 49.7% falter after 5 years. After 10 years, 65.5%. That's a lot of businesses that go out of working anymore, out of existence. So what you're saying in terms of research, the passion, the everything that goes into it, everything that you guys said, very, very true. All right, well, let me go back to your operations. I'm going to talk to Sean about this one. I noticed the numbers 33, 430, 476, and 493 on your PVC's logo. What do those numbers mean? And then I'll come back to you.
I think that question, you need to start with Notory on that question first.
Oh, okay, good. Let's go with Notory.
That 33, where I'm from, the surrounding areas of where I'm from, like, you from South Florida, am I correct?
305.
Okay, so in like West Palm Beach, Broward, a lot of our zip codes start with 33, like 33493, 33430, 334 something. So I incorporate everybody to be inclusive. I just took the big 33, you know what I mean, and so everybody can, so you can add the last three wherever you're from, but you part of the 33, and the last the 493, the 43, and the 476. Those are the Belgrade, Pahokee, and South Bay area codes. My little city where I'm from, those are three, my main cities. I put those on the bottom big so everybody know this is Muck City right here. And but the big 33 is for everybody.
All right. Well, Sean, let's see that shirt one more time. Let's see that logo. All right. PVC LLC 33. All right. Sound like a plan to me. All right. Well, what we're going to talk about is life before incarceration. Go a little bit into your backgrounds, actually. And I'm going to start off with Notory. Tell me a little about your experiences in high school. What were your interactions with teachers and academics? What did you have to deal with when you were that young?
Well, to be quite honest, like, I always keep it 100. I always keep it real. In school, I was one of the cool kids. Like, I was, I was in the cool kid crowd, but I also, all my classes was honor and AP classes. Like, I was always smart, you know what I mean? But I I was always part of the cool kid. You know, it was used to be a separation. Either you was gonna be in the books or you was one of the cool kids. You know, it's so fortunate to have the best of both worlds. Like I was cool, but I can do my work as well. And my teachers, a lot of them they didn't like. Well, some of them liked me because but some of them didn't like me because I was wild. I was wild, but I was smart. So they were like, "How could you be so smart but be so stupid at the same time?"
When
But
you say you were wild, were you disruptive in class or were you disruptive out of class?
sometimes I used to be like the class clown sometimes, like that way, as far as that, like I might joke on the teacher or get the class riled up, that type of thing. Not as so some of my teachers they didn't like that, but they was just amazed, like how could such a brilliant mind come out such a bad guy, like
Well, let me ask you this. All right, there's some students out there who may be considered the class clown, who may have the same attributes of being very smart. What would you tell them now if you had the chance?
I would tell you, because I know for 9 out of 10 of those kids that the class clown and trying to do that, they're trying to fit in, they're trying to be followed, they're pleasers, they like to make people happy, or they want to fit in, or they want to do that, and I tell you, don't do it. I tell you to don't do it. Just be you. Like if that's not you, force it. Just be you. Don't try to get that attention, because it follows you. It really does. Teachers talk. They pass on. It follows you. And if you get on the bad side of a teacher, that can affect you getting into college and all of those things. So my advice to the class clowns, of those wild ones, tame it down. You save it for outside by the cafeteria when it's the kids around. Don't do it in class, because it ain't worth it.
I hope that you enjoyed part 1 of this interview about the career opportunities for an entrepreneur. Stay tuned for part 2. Thank you for watching.